Host Melissa Rosenblum is one of only a few women certified by the Supreme Court of New Jersey as a criminal trial attorney. When you add kids, a booming law business, and a little black book full of subject matter experts, you've got the Mighty Merp podcast. And part 3 in this series.
You were the judge of recovery court for 5 years. You retired as the recovery court judge. I know you're still involved, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, but how were you able to, throughout the time, stay so positive and focused? Because I know even sitting as a judge, you lost clients and people in the program.
Sure.
And
Sure.
And so, but you are always very, I don't know if it's goal-oriented on this or focused or able to see the positive, but you've always maintained like a very upbeat, I think, mantra about recovery.
Well, because I knew it was their only way out. I knew there was no other way out. And I knew that nobody ever said, geez, you know, the thing I really want to do is go to be in recovery court and be drug tested twice a week. And have to go and sit in court once at the beginning of the recovery court process, you go every week, then you go every month, then you go every 2 months, every 3. It's declining attendance as you get certain levels of certain success levels. You go less and less to court. At the beginning, it's somewhat intense, and I knew nobody wanted to do that because most of the people who had substance abuse problems wanted to continue to use. Why? Because that is the way the disease works. Mm-hmm. It won't let you go. So you have to, it hurts to be in recovery at the beginning. After a while, it doesn't. It takes about 6 months, clinically to stop using drugs before your brain starts operating the same way. I mean, I would see people as they pled in, they didn't know what day it was. Honest to God. I mean, you would, they were walking around and their eyes were open and conscious. But if you talk to them 2 weeks later, do you remember being in my court 2 weeks ago? They'd say no. So it takes a while for your brain to reorient itself, depending upon the amount of time you've been addicted. Now, the most difficult situation are young kids. And Melissa, you've done a lot of juvenile cases as well. If you're 17 years, 364 days old, and you're caught with drugs or doing certain things, it's a very different result than when you're 18 years old and 1 second. You're in the adult system. State prison is out there, filled with there used to be 50,000. I think there's much fewer. But our county jails have all expanded exponentially, and because there have been so few trials because of COVID. So you get people in. At first, they don't want to do it. If you can just keep their nose to the grindstone, get them into treatment immediately. There is no cure to a substance abuse addiction, but there is treatment. Treatment does work, but you have to go to treatment. You have to pay attention. You have to participate. Drug testing is an integral part of treatment because that's how you prove that you are staying sober. Because the truth is the first thing that goes out the window if you have a substance abuse problem.
It's the truth.
So the reality of it is, it's a process. There's a book called The Razor's Edge, and it says the path to salvation lies at the edge of a straight razor. I mean, you walk the edge of a straight razor, and it's very difficult to walk the line of recovery.
Yeah,
if you do it, you're happy.
I always know when my clients really are still clean or and still in recovery, or if they relapse, by one simple question. When I ask them the date, if they could tell me the date of when they became sober or clean.
Yes.
My clients who can give me the date, I know they're still clean. My clients...
I think you're right.
That are wishy-washy on it, I just know that they're using again, whatever it is.
Right.
So let me...
It's one of the questions I would ask, what's your clean date? Never forget your clean date. Never forget your clean date. And I would say, when was it? January the 13th at 11 o'clock. I mean, then you know somebody's at least paying attention. At least they're paying enough attention that if they're lying to you, they're sounding good.
Right.
It's not an infallible test, but it's certainly one of the ones I use.
It is a good one. So let me ask you this. You retired in November 2020, forced retirement in New Jersey, or a welcome retirement, any other way you look at it. So are you, I know that you are, so let me ask you this. What are you still doing and how are you involved in furthering the recovery courts or recovery in New Jersey? Because I know that it is a passion or something that you're going to continue.
Right. A couple of things happened. As I was about to retire, I got a call from the Chief Justice who really liked the jobs program that I had been doing in Atlantic Cape May, and he asked me if I would be willing to help lead the program statewide. So now I'm the vice chair, along with Glenn Grant, who's the director of the Administrative Office of the Courts, of a program called JOBS, JOBS. It's Judiciary. What's JOBS stand for? I forget. Judiciary. I don't know. It's an acronym, but it's called JOBS. And
for
we
jobs.
are active. We're active. Now I'm frustrated because I got to find out what this JOBS stand for. I should know that. Judiciary Opportunities for Building Success. That's the program. So it's active in all, we have 15 judicial districts in New Jersey. They're called vicindages. It's active in all 15 judicial districts. We have employment specialists now in all 15 judicial districts. It's run through the probation department, who's doing a fabulous job. And we're holding job fairs all over the state for people, not just in recovery, not just recovery court people, but for probation. There's over 100,000 people in New Jersey who are being supervised by the probation department, both in criminal probation and in child support. And the jobs program we're doing is available to all of those people. And we've had some tremendous success in getting people back to work and in bringing people back into the community through a job. And we have a lot of partners, which if I can tell you who our partners were, because I was just doing a memo on this the other day.
And these are companies and corporations in New Jersey that are agreeing to hire individuals that have prior records, which is something that has prevented.
We call them justice-involved individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I will, looking at it now, here we go. The partnering companies we have, and this is not all of them, this is many of them. Gingoli, Joe Gingoli, his construction company has been probably our best, throughout the state, has been our best vehicle to have what we call train-to-hire programs for the construction industry. But Gingoli, Goya, Community Food Bank, PSE&G, Atlantic Electric, Audible, Amazon, Wayfair, Wakefern, New Jersey Transit, Atlantic Electric, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health, Atlantic Care. So we've concentrated on the big utility customers. Robert Wood Johnson, for instance, hires 6,000 people a year. They have 35,000 people working for them. So these are gigantic employers, and we've made progress with all of them to try to hire people on probation. They're called justice-involved people. There's huge benefits to the community if we take these people who traditionally have had a difficult time getting a job because they have a criminal record, and we treat them and rehabilitate them through probation, and we train them for a job training. We have received approximately $5 million worth of grants for the program from the Department of Labor to establish job training programs and employment programs, job coaching programs throughout the state for justice and job-involved probation clients.
Wow. Anything else you're doing in your retirement? This is your retirement, right?
Yeah, this is my retirement. No, I'm trying to stay busy. I'm trying to help people because that's what I kind of got to have into a habit of doing. I'm finding it very rewarding and satisfying that I can help people and make New Jersey better. I mean, let's face it. What's the problem in New Jersey? It's the same problem there is throughout the country, which is, there's parts of Atlantic County where I'm not too comfortable walking at night. That is no way to live. And I think that in terms of that, over the last 50 years, it's gotten more problematic. A lot of this is directly related to drug-related criminality. Mm-hmm. So if we can get people into recovery and get them jobs, have them as tax-paying citizens of this country, we can, I think, turn New Jersey around for the better. And we've been working with the governor's office. We're working with the New Jersey President's Council, which is all the higher educational facilities in New Jersey. Harvey Kesselman from Stockton has been tremendous with us and has provided recovery court scholarships here and has hired people from our program, Atlantic Care, as well. We work with them. And the casino industry is great. They need people. We're trying to get our people hired there. They have changed. And I got to give Jim Plausis, who's the chairman of the Casino Control Commission, tremendous kudos. He used to be the chairman of the parole board, so he knows, whereof he speaks in terms of reentry into the community. And we have gotten a lot of the laws changed that people who are justice involved, have criminal records, can work as cleaners on the casino floor, can work as, as hotel staff in the casinos. They are not, what sense does it make if you take somebody who has committed a crime, let's say a drug crime, that person goes through, rehabilitation and recovery, and then he comes back and he can't get a job.
Right.
Well, if you can't get a job, you're going to have to feed your family some way. How are you going to do it?
Correct. And I think what people don't realize is that when you had a conviction of, we call them in New Jersey indictable convictions, but it's a felony conviction. Prior to you working and changing the laws and the licensing, you couldn't work in the casinos at all, whether it was housekeeping, cleaning, you couldn't get a casino license to work.
Right.
So
it was a ridiculous situation. Luckily, thanks to Jim Plausis and some of the legislators, some of whom we have on our board, they changed the Casino Control Act to allow people to have jobs. The reality of it is they're either going to have jobs or they're going to be walking through your casino and harassing people. Mm-hmm. One way or the other, it's a better system where people are working for a living, taking home an honest paycheck for an honest day's work. Mm. And I think that's how we change the world.
I agree. So I do have some rapid fire questions that are a little lighter than the topics that we've talked about today. But before I get to that, is there anything else that other than, you're doing a lot. There's recovery, there's the jobs program and everything you're doing to make sure that I would say my clients or people in the criminal justice system are able to re-enter our communities and jobs without ending back in the system. Is there anything else that's on your plate right now that
I'm doing, I was involved in the the Consolidated Municipal Court program, which is now going forward. And I'm involved in some other community-related oriented things. But I'm keeping busy.
Good.
I'm keeping busy. I like being retired, not having to do what I don't want to do. So I'm doing all stuff I want to do.
All right. So let's talk about what you want to do. This is some rapid fire questions. Some of them are just fun. Okay. Some of them are, just for a little entertainment. So what do you like to do now to relax or unwind? What's your favorite hobby?
It's a great question. I do not have a million hobbies. I've been trying to walk more to stay in shape to a certain extent, which I never paid much attention to when I was working, but I am now. I like reading and I like movies. Nothing, unfortunately, incredibly active, but I've tried to stay as active as possible through working for all these causes.
This is not one of my questions on my list, but I know you're a movie buff fan, and you said it's one of your hobbies. So what is your favorite movie? One movie. That's all you can pick.
But one movie. I'm going to sound like a horrendous snob here, but the movie my favorite movie is probably Citizen Kane.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And that's a snobby thing to say, but I really like the movie. I've always liked it. In terms of more mainstream movies, I like Sunset Boulevard, and I would say that would be my favorite non-snobby movie.
Non-snobby movie. Okay. Yeah. So Do you have a famous quote or saying that you either live by or inspires you, or a mantra?
That's funny. I gave a speech the other day, and I'm trying to find it if I can somewhere here. But we led off the season in front of the criminal judges at Seaview, and my currently favorite quote is by none other than Steve Jobs, the former head of Apple, who's now passed away, and it says, those people who are crazy enough to want to change the world usually do.
I like that. I send my kids famous quotes every day, and try to inspire them, depending on what's happening in the world. So,
Right.
What is your favorite color?
Green.
I was going to make a joke about money, but I decided not to.
Yeah, it was green. I like green.
There you go. And I think it's fair to say that you're a leader in everything that you've done. You kind of, have these goals. And so what do you think makes you successful as a leader?
Well, I try to bring everybody else along with me. I found that if you tell people what to do, they never do it. I find myself, if somebody says, Mark, I want you to do, you have to do this, I'll think immediately ways of slacking. But if you bring people along, explain the premises under which what you're trying to do, explain what the goals are, and listen to input as a collaborative leader, I think that is much more successful than being a dictator.
I agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I think that what you've done for Recovery Court in New Jersey is truly monumental. I think people in our area, Atlantic County and Cape May, have truly benefited from you leading Recovery Court in the new direction. And I can tell you that my clients don't have the pushback anymore when we talk about Recovery Court, about not wanting in it because of the idea that they're going to end up in state prison. And I think that's because of you.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you very, very much. I appreciate it, Melissa. And over the years, you and I have been working together for much of the 15 years that I was a judge. And I don't know if I knew you before I was a judge. I don't think I did, but I've certainly known you for the last 15 years. And, you're a good, talented advocate for your clients. And you've always been willing to listen. You've always been willing to make sensible suggestions. And I have to say that in terms of somebody who really kind of gets it, I'd have to say you are that person.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening in. Stay tuned for the next part in this conversation. Mighty Merp is a production of the Law Office of Melissa Rosenblum and the Niche Podcast Network. Mighty Merp is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your favorite apps and players. But the best way to experience the show is to visit mightymerp.com, where you can subscribe, rate, or submit a voice message to the show. That's mightymerp.com.